My hands are shaking as I pull into the country club parking lot, 43 minutes late. Through the windshield, I can see Marcus pacing near the entrance, his mother's disapproving silhouette visible through the glass doors. I'm about to meet my fiancé's family for the first time, and I've already failed their unspoken test. But what they don't know, what Marcus doesn't know yet, is why I'm late. An hour ago, I was kneeling on hot asphalt in my best dress, helping an elderly woman whose Rolls-Royce had broken down on a deserted road. She wore a simple floral dress and terror in her eyes. I couldn't just drive past. Now, as I gather my courage to walk inside and face the judgment I know is coming, a familiar silver Rolls-Royce pulls into the parking space directly behind me. My breath catches. The old woman steps out, but she's not alone. A driver opens her door. She's transformed, poised, elegant, clearly wealthy, and she's walking straight toward the country club entrance. Straight toward my future in-laws. This morning started perfectly. I wake up at 6, sunlight streaming through the curtains of the apartment Marcus and I share. He's already awake, sitting on the edge of the bed, staring at his phone with that crease between his eyebrows that means he's stressed. "Morning," I murmur, reaching for him. He barely glances at me. "Morning. Listen, today is really important, Ava. My mother has very specific expectations." I sit up, pulling the sheet around me. "I know, you've mentioned it." "I'm serious." He finally looks at me, and there's something in his eyes I haven't seen before. Worry? Doubt? "She's going to judge everything. What you wear, how you speak, what you order. This brunch is essentially an audition." "An audition to marry you?" I try to laugh, but it comes out hollow. "To marry into the family," he corrects. "There's a difference." I've known Marcus for 2 years. We met at a charity gala where I was working as an event coordinator. He was charming, handsome, attentive. He pursued me with an intensity that felt like being chosen. It wasn't until 6 months in that I met his world, the private clubs, the galas, the circles where everyone's last name opens doors. I'm not from that world. My dad was a mechanic. My mom taught elementary school. They're both gone now, dad from a heart attack 5 years ago, mom from cancer 2 years later. They left me with their house, paid off, and the skills dad insisted I learn: how to change a tire, check oil, jumpstart a battery. "Your hands should know how to fix things," dad used to say, "not just hold a purse." Marcus knows my background. He says it doesn't matter, but I've noticed how he edits stories about me when talking to his colleagues, how he suggests I dress up my resume, how he's never once invited his family to our apartment. "What does your mother want to see?" I ask. "Someone who fits." He stands, moving to his closet. "Someone polished, sophisticated, someone who understands our lifestyle." Our lifestyle, not his, ours, as if I'm already supposed to belong to it. I shower and stand in front of my closet for 20 minutes. Everything I own suddenly looks wrong. Too cheap, too casual, too much like someone who grew up helping her dad fix cars in a 2-bedroom house. I finally choose a navy dress, simple, elegant, expensive. I bought it specifically for today, spending more than I'd normally spend on a month of groceries. I pair it with nude heels and minimal jewelry. When I look in the mirror, I barely recognize myself. Marcus nods approvingly. "Perfect, you look like you belong." The words should feel like a compliment. Instead, they settle in my stomach like stones. We're supposed to meet his family at Lakewood Country Club at 1 o'clock. It's an hour drive. Marcus suggests we leave at 11:30. "That's pretty early," I say. "My mother values punctuality above almost everything else," he replies. "We cannot be late. Do you understand? We absolutely cannot be late." The way he emphasizes it makes my skin prickle, but I nod. At 11:15, my phone rings. It's Sarah, my best friend and former college roommate. She's crying. "I'm sorry to call," she sobs. "I know today is your big thing, but I just found out Derek's been cheating on me, and I don't know what to." "Sarah, breathe," I interrupt. "Tell me what happened." Marcus appears in the doorway, car keys dangling from his finger. "We need to go." I hold up a finger. "Sarah, where are you?" "Home. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have called." "No, I'm glad you called. Listen, I have to go to this brunch, but I'll call you right after, okay? I promise, we'll talk through everything." Ava, Marcus's voice is sharp. Now. I hang up and grab my purse. She's going through a breakup. And that requires a phone call right when we're leaving. As she needed support. He doesn't respond, just heads for the door. I follow, that uneasy feeling growing. The drive starts quietly. Marcus puts on classical music, something he never listens to when we're alone. He's performing already, I realize, preparing for his family. So I'll finally meet your mother and sister, I say, trying to lighten the mood. And my Uncle Richard and Aunt Patricia, they're influential in the family. First impressions matter. You keep saying that, Marcus, I'm going to be myself. That's who you fell in love with, remember? His hands tighten on the steering wheel. I fell in love with you, yes, but there's the you I know, and there's the you my family needs to see. Just be careful. Don't tell any stories about your dad's garage. Don't mention that you lived in a house that was under 1,500 square feet. Don't talk about your previous jobs. Event coordinating sounds too service-oriented. Tell them you're in hospitality consulting. Each instruction is a tiny erasure. So you want me to lie. I want you to emphasize the right things. I stare out the window, watching familiar neighborhoods give way to estates with gates and circular driveways. This is the world Marcus comes from. A world where people like me are edited and polished until we're acceptable. We're making good time. It's 12:15 and we're about 30 minutes away. That's when I see her. The Rolls-Royce sits at an awkward angle on the shoulder of a rural two-lane road. It's silver, classic, beautiful, and clearly broken down. Steam rises from under the hood. An elderly woman stands beside it, looking lost and frightened. She's wearing a simple floral dress, comfortable shoes, no phone visible in her hand. Marcus, pull over, I say. What? No, we're on a schedule. Someone needs help. He doesn't even slow down. Ava, that's what roadside assistance is for. We cannot be late. But I'm already twisting in my seat, watching the woman recede in the side mirror. She's alone on an empty road. No houses visible. No cars coming. Marcus, please, just stop for a second. Absolutely not. His jaw is set. Do you know how important today is? My mother specifically said 1 o'clock, not 1:15, 1. Something in his tone ignites a spark of defiance I've been suppressing for months. Then drop me off and come back, I say quietly. He laughs, you're joking. I'm not, that woman needs help, and I can't just leave her there. Ava, I swear to God, if you make us late for this brunch. You keep saying us, but you mean me. You're worried I'll make you look bad. His silence is answer enough. We drive for another mile, that image of the woman burned into my mind. I think about my dad, how he never drove past anyone who needed help, how he taught me that kindness isn't convenient, it's essential. Turn around, I say. No. Marcus, turn around, or I'm calling an Uber from wherever we are right now and going back myself. He slams on the brakes so hard I jerk forward against the seatbelt. We're on the shoulder now, hazards clicking rhythmically. You would actually do this. His face is red. You would actually prioritize some random stranger over meeting my family, over our future. I would prioritize being a decent human, being over-impressing people who have already decided not to like me. You don't know that. Yes, I do. You've been coaching me for weeks about how to act, what to say, what to hide about myself. They don't want to meet me, Marcus. They want to meet whoever you've decided I should be. He stares at me and I see it clearly now. He's ashamed of me, of where I come from, of who I am when I'm not performing. Get out, he says quietly. What? Get out, help your stranger. I'll make excuses for you. Maybe I'll tell them you got food poisoning. Maybe I'll tell them the truth, that my fiancé chose a broken-down car over meeting them. See which one makes me look worse. The cruelty in his voice shocks me, but I unbuckle my seatbelt. Fine. I grab my purse and step out onto the shoulder. He speeds off before I even close the door, gravel spraying. I stand there for a moment, watching his car disappear, and wonder if I just ended my engagement. Then I turn and start walking back toward the woman. It takes me 15 minutes to reach her. My heels aren't made for this, and the sun is brutal. By the time I arrive, I'm sweating through my expensive dress. Hi, I call out as I approach. Do you need help? The woman turns, and I see relief flood her face. She must be in her 70s, with white hair pulled back in a loose bun and kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. Oh, thank goodness, her voice shakes. I don't have my phone, I left it at home, and I've been standing here for 20 minutes. No one stopped. What happened? I don't know, it just started making a terrible noise, and then the steam started pouring out. She gestures helplessly at the hood. I don't know anything about cars. Let me take a look. I set down my purse, pop the hood. She stares at me. You know about cars. My dad was a mechanic. I grew up in his garage. I find the hood release and lift it carefully, waving away steam. The problem is immediately obvious, a burst radiator hose. Coolant is pooled beneath the car. Do you have any water? I ask. And duct tape by any chance? In the trunk, maybe. My late husband always kept emergency supplies. We search together and find a gallon of distilled water and a roll of electrical tape. Not ideal, but it'll work temporarily. I kneel on the hot asphalt in my navy dress, wrap the split section of hose as tightly as I can with the tape, and refill the radiator. My hands are covered in grime. My knees are scraped. This is only a temporary fix, I tell her as I work. You'll need to get this to a mechanic as soon as possible, but it should get you where you're going if you're close. The Lakewood Country Club, she says, about 20 minutes from here. My hands freeze. Lakewood Country Club. Yes, I'm meeting my family for brunch. My son insisted, though I told him I'm perfectly fine in my little house. She laughs softly. I never liked the pretense of these places, but it makes him happy. The universe has a sense of humor. I'll follow you, I say, just to make sure you make it. Oh, you don't have to. I insist, I was actually heading there myself. She looks at me more closely, taking in my dress, my scraped knees, my dirty hands. Were you meant to meet someone there? My fiancé's family, for the first time. I check my phone, it's 12:58. I'm going to be very late. Her expression shifts, understanding mixed with concern. Because you stopped to help me. Because someone needed help, and I was raised to stop. I wipe my hands on some napkins from her glove compartment. I'm Ava, by the way. Eleanor, she says, taking my hand warmly. Eleanor Bishop. Eleanor's Rolls starts on the second try, the engine running rough but stable. I follow her in my own car, keeping close, watching for any signs of trouble. My phone buzzes constantly. I ignore it. As we drive, my mind races. I'm now 40 minutes late. Marcus has probably already made excuses. His mother has probably already formed opinions. I'm walking into a room full of people who will see me as a failure before I even open my mouth. But as I watch Eleanor drive carefully ahead of me, I feel something I haven't felt in months: certainty. This is who I am, someone who stops, someone who helps, someone whose father taught her that character is measured in small moments, not grand gestures. If Marcus's family can't accept that, then maybe I don't belong in that family. We pull into the country club parking lot at 143. Eleanor parks near the entrance. I pull into a spot a few rows back, giving myself a moment before I face the disaster waiting inside. Eleanor approaches my car as I'm checking my reflection in the rearview mirror. I look terrible. My hair is coming loose from its careful updo. My dress has a grease stain on the hem. My knees are definitely bleeding through the thin fabric. Thank you, Eleanor says through my open window. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't stopped. You would have figured it out, I reply, but I'm glad I could help. She studies me with those sharp, kind eyes. Your fiancé's family, are they meeting inside now? They've been inside for 43 minutes. And you're nervous. I'm terrified, not of them exactly, but of what this means. I take a shaky breath. Marcus left me on the side of the road. He drove away because I chose to help you instead of being on time. What does that say about our future? Eleanor leans against my car, thoughtful. When my husband was alive, we used to play a game. We'd watch people in situations like yours, small tests of character, and we'd guess what they'd do. He used to say, the truth of a person shows up in the moments between their plans. Who are you meeting inside? I ask. She smiles mysteriously. Family, why don't you come in with me? Let's see what happens. There's something in her tone that makes me curious, but I'm too focused on my own impending confrontation to think deeply about it. I step out of my car, straighten my dress as much as possible, and walk beside Eleanor toward the entrance. She moves with surprising grace, no longer the frightened woman on the roadside. There's authority in her bearing now, a quiet confidence. The country club is exactly what I expected. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, walls lined with portraits of distinguished members. A hostess in a crisp uniform greets us immediately. Mrs. Bishop, her eyes widen. We've been expecting you, your table is ready. Mrs. Bishop, not Miss, and the hostess knows her by name. Eleanor pats my arm. Go find your people, dear, and remember, anyone who loves you will understand why you were late. She's escorted toward the main dining room, and I'm left standing in the foyer, gathering courage. I hear Marcus's voice before I see him. He's in a private dining room off to the left, visible through French doors. His mother sits at the head of the table, elegant, blonde, dripping in tasteful jewelry. His sister beside her, a younger version of the same controlled beauty. Uncle Richard and Aunt Patricia across from them. And Marcus, gesturing animatedly as he speaks. I approach the doorway just as his mother's words carry clearly. I simply don't understand why you insisted on bringing someone so unsuitable. I freeze. Marcus doesn't defend me. Instead, he says, she's normally more reliable than this. I don't know what happened. What happened, his sister drawls, is that you chose someone beneath you, and now you're paying the price. She doesn't understand our world, Marcus. She never will. His mother nods. It's not too late to reconsider. Better to acknowledge a mistake now than divorce later. I wait for Marcus to shut this down, to defend me, to tell them I'm late because I helped someone who needed it. Instead, he says quietly, you might be right. The words hit like a physical blow. His uncle chuckles. There are plenty of suitable women in our circles, my boy. This was a phase, we all have them. I should walk in, confront them, but my feet won't move. Because I'm realizing something. I've been trying to fit into a space that was never meant for me. Marcus hasn't been preparing me to meet his family. He's been trying to transform me into someone they could tolerate. My phone buzzes. I pull it out, still hidden from view in the hallway. It's a text from an unknown number. This is Eleanor. I asked the hostess for your number. Hope you don't mind. Whatever is happening in there, remember, you are worth more than their approval. Your father would be proud of the woman you are. E.B. Tears sting my eyes. I look back through the French doors. Marcus is nodding along as his mother lists my deficiencies, my background, my lack of connections, my service-oriented job history. And I make a decision. I'm not going in there to apologize or explain. I'm not going to beg them to see my value. Instead, I turn and walk toward the main dining room where Eleanor was seated. I need a moment to think, to breathe, to figure out my next move. The dining room is spectacular, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the golf course, tables draped in white linen, fresh flowers everywhere. And at a prominent table near the windows sits Eleanor. But she's not alone. A younger man in an expensive suit stands to greet her, kissing her cheek. A woman in her 50s sits across from them, elegant and warm. And as I watch, more people approach the table, people who clearly know Eleanor, who treat her with deference and affection. The hostess appears beside me. Can I help you find your party? I gesture vaguely. Who is that, the woman who just arrived? The hostess looks surprised. That's Eleanor Bishop. She's one of the club's founding members. Her family has been a patron for over 50 years. My stomach drops. The elderly woman in the simple floral dress, stranded on the side of the road, is Eleanor Bishop, a founding member, part of the old money elite. And she saw me at my most authentic, dirty hands, scraped knees, choosing kindness over punctuality. Before I can process this, Marcus appears at my elbow. Where the hell have you been? I turn to him, and something in my expression makes him step back. Helping someone, I say quietly, like I told you I would. Do you have any idea how humiliated I've been? My family has been sitting in there for almost an hour, asking where you are, making comments. I heard the comments, Marcus. I was standing outside the door. His face goes pale. You heard everything, including the part where you agreed with them that I'm a mistake. Marcus grabs my elbow, trying to steer me away from the main dining room. We need to talk privately. I pull away. No, we needed to talk privately an hour ago when you left me on the side of the road. We needed to talk privately when you spent weeks coaching me to hide who I am. We definitely needed to talk privately before you sat with your family and let them tear me apart. Ava, lower your voice. Why? Because someone might hear. Someone might realize that Marcus Whitmore's fiancé isn't the polished trophy he promised them. People are starting to stare. I don't care. You want to know why I was late? My voice carries across the dining room. I stopped to help an elderly woman whose car broke down. She was alone on an empty road, scared with no phone. And when I asked you to pull over, you refused. When I insisted, you left me there. Marcus's face is red now. This isn't the time. You drove away, I continue, because being on time for your mother was more important than basic human decency. And then you sat in there and let your family call me unsuitable while you nodded along. Mrs. Bishop, a server, has approached Eleanor's table, speaking loudly enough that I can hear. Your usual table is ready in the private room, but would you prefer to stay here? I can have them reconfigure. Eleanor waves her hand graciously. This is perfect, James, thank you. She's been watching our confrontation. I can feel her eyes on us. Marcus notices too. He leans in close, his voice urgent. Do you know who that is? That's Eleanor Bishop. She's on the board of my father's company. She's connected to everyone who matters in this city. Can you please just come meet my family, apologize for being late, and we can deal with this later? No. Ava, I'm trying to protect you. From what? From showing your family that I'm a real person with actual values? You don't want to protect me, Marcus. You want to control me. His sister appears in the doorway of the private dining room, her expression annoyed. Marcus, mother is getting impatient. Perfect timing. I turn to face her directly. Hi, I'm Ava, the unsuitable fiancé you were discussing earlier. She has the grace to look embarrassed, but only slightly. We weren't. You were, I heard everything. I look between them. You think I'm beneath you because my dad was a mechanic and my mom was a teacher. You think I don't understand your world of country clubs and connections. You're right, I don't understand it, but I understand loyalty. I understand compassion. I understand stopping when someone needs help, even when it's inconvenient. Marcus's mother appears now, her face a mask of controlled fury. Young lady, you are making a scene. Good, I stand straighter, ignoring how ridiculous I must look in my stained dress and scraped knees. You should know exactly what kind of scene your son's fiancé is capable of before you spend another second judging her. Eleanor Bishop rises from her table. She moves toward us and the room seems to part for her. Even Marcus's mother straightens slightly. Ava, Eleanor says warmly, I wondered if you'd found your party. Marcus's mother's expression shifts, confused, calculating. Mrs. Bishop, we didn't realize you were here. I wasn't for a while. Eleanor's voice is pleasant but carries authority. I was stranded on Route 47 with a burst radiator hose. No phone, no help in sight. She pauses, letting the words settle, until this remarkable young woman had her fiancé pull over. I can see Marcus's mind working, trying to figure out how to spin this. Eleanor continues. She didn't just stop. She got down on the hot asphalt in her beautiful dress and fixed my car with her own hands. She knew exactly what to do. Her father taught her, she said. A mechanic. The word is delivered with such respect that it sounds like a title. She wouldn't leave until she knew I could make it here safely. That's why she's late. The silence in the dining room is absolute. Marcus's mother recovers first. That was very kind of her. The words sound forced. Kind? Eleanor's eyebrows rise. It was exceptional. Do you know how many cars passed me in that 20-minute stretch? At least 15. Not one stopped. Not one person thought an elderly woman on the side of the road was worth their time. Her gaze moves to Marcus. Including, I assume, you. Marcus opens his mouth, but nothing comes out. I see. Eleanor's tone could freeze water. So you left your fiancé on the side of the road and came here to keep your appointment on time. Mrs. Bishop, with all due respect, Marcus's mother tries to intervene. With all due respect, Eleanor interrupts, your son abandoned his fiancée because she chose to help me. And then you all sat in that private room? Yes, James mentioned you'd been asking about me, so I asked him what he'd overheard and discussed how unsuitable she is. Marcus's sister has gone pale. Eleanor turns to me, her expression softening. My late husband and I built our fortune from nothing. He started with a small construction company. I was a seamstress. We knew what it was like to be judged by people who inherited their status rather than earned it. She looks back at Marcus's family. Money doesn't breed character. Sometimes it does the opposite. Mrs. Bishop, Marcus's mother starts. I'm not finished. Eleanor's voice sharpens. I sit on 14 corporate boards in the city. I chair 5 charitable foundations. I have voting shares in companies that employ thousands of people. And I have never in all my years been as impressed by someone as I was by this young woman today. She takes my hand. She didn't know who I was. She gained nothing by helping me. She sacrificed something she clearly valued, meeting your family, because it was the right thing to do. My eyes are burning with tears. Eleanor squeezes my hand. That's character. That's the kind of person my husband and I always tried to be, and it's worth more than every membership to every club in this city. Marcus's mother looks like she's swallowed glass. His sister won't meet anyone's eyes. His uncle and aunt have appeared in the doorway, clearly drawn by the commotion. Marcus reaches for me. Ava, I'm sorry, I should have. You should have stopped, I say quietly. You should have helped. You should have defended me when your family tore me apart. You should have been proud of me for being exactly who I've always been. I pull the engagement ring from my finger. But you weren't. You were ashamed. No, I place the ring in his hand. I can't marry someone who wants me to be smaller, quieter, less myself. I can't build a life with someone who left me on the side of the road. He stares at the ring like he can't comprehend what just happened. Eleanor gestures to her table. Ava, would you join me and my family for brunch? I'd like you to meet my son and daughter-in-law, real people who understand that kindness matters more than punctuality. I look at Marcus one last time. He's not even looking at me, he's looking at his mother, as if seeking guidance on what to do next. That tells me everything. I'd love to, I tell Eleanor. As we walk toward her table, the dining room erupts in whispers. I catch fragments. Did she really just? Eleanor Bishop never. The Whitmores must be. Eleanor introduces me to her son, David, warm, genuine, nothing like Marcus. His wife, Jennifer, immediately fusses over my scraped knees, sending a server for first aid supplies. Their college-age daughter, Grace, pulls out a chair for me. Mom told me what you did, Grace says. That's so cool, can you really fix cars? My dad taught me, I reply. He said everyone should know how to take care of themselves. He sounds like he was a wonderful man, David says. He was. Eleanor orders champagne. We're celebrating, she announces to the table, new friendships and people with character. As the server pours, I glance back toward the private dining room. Marcus and his family have retreated inside, the doors firmly closed. Through the glass, I can see them in what looks like a heated discussion. Don't look back, Eleanor says gently. That chapter is over. She's right. I turn back to the table, where Grace is asking about the most interesting car I've ever fixed, and David is telling a story about the time he tried to change a tire and ended up calling roadside assistance. For the first time in months, I feel like I can breathe. We're 2 hours into brunch, and I've learned more about Eleanor Bishop in that time than I knew about Marcus's family after 2 years. She and her husband started with nothing, built a construction empire through hard work and fair dealing. They never forgot where they came from. Every foundation she chairs focuses on education and opportunity for kids from backgrounds like mine. We fund scholarships for trade schools, she explains. Electricians, plumbers, mechanics, carpenters. The world needs people who can build and fix things, not just people who can afford to hire others to do it. My dad would have loved that, I say. He was always worried about trade skills disappearing. Was he able to pass his garage on? He had to sell it when he got sick, medical bills. the old familiar ache surfaces, but he taught me everything first. He said skills are the one inheritance nobody can take from you. Eleanor nods thoughtfully. How would you feel about managing a foundation? I nearly choke on my champagne. I'm sorry, what? One of my education foundations needs a new director, someone who understands where these kids come from, someone with character. She smiles. Someone who stops on the side of the road. Mrs. Bishop, I don't have experience. You have exactly the right experience. You've lived it, and please call me Eleanor. David leans forward. Mom doesn't make offers she doesn't mean. If she thinks you're right for this, you are. I'm overwhelmed. Can I think about it? Of course, take all the time you need. Eleanor pulls out a business card. My personal number, call me when you're ready. As brunch winds down, Marcus appears at our table. He looks smaller somehow, diminished. Ava, can we talk? Eleanor raises an eyebrow, but I nod. It's fine. We step outside onto the terrace overlooking the golf course. The sun is beginning to lower, casting everything in golden light. That was quite a performance in there, Marcus says. It wasn't a performance, it was the truth. Eleanor Bishop is influential, Ava. You played that perfectly. The words hit wrong. Is that what you think, that I helped her because I knew who she was? Didn't you? I had no idea who she was until after. She was just a scared old woman who needed help. He studies me like I'm speaking a foreign language. You really don't understand how this world works. No, I agree. I don't, and I don't want to. If how this world works means driving past people who need help, or being ashamed of where you come from, or letting the people who love you be torn apart without defending them, then I want no part of it. So that's it, we're over. We've been over for a while, Marcus. I was just too busy trying to fit into your world to notice. He's quiet for a moment. I did love you, the version of you I met at that gala. You were confident, impressive. I was working, I interrupt. I was coordinating an event. That wasn't some special version of me, that was me doing my job. You were different. No, you just hadn't decided to be ashamed of me yet. The words land hard, he flinches. For what it's worth, he says finally, I'm sorry I left you on the road, that was wrong. Yes, it was. And I'm sorry I didn't defend you to my family. You're sorry you got caught not defending me, I correct. There's a difference. He doesn't argue. We stand there for another moment, and I feel the weight of the last 2 years settling and then lifting. All the small accommodations I made, all the times I edited myself, all the ways I tried to be someone I'm not. Goodbye, Marcus. Goodbye, Avas. I walk back inside, where Eleanor and her family are waiting. Grace immediately links her arm through mine. So that looked intense, she says. It was closure. Good, closure is underrated. She grins. Want to see something cool? Grandma's taking us to her house. She has this whole garage full of vintage cars that need restoration. She mentioned you might be interested. I look at Eleanor, who shrugs innocently. My husband collected them. I've been meaning to restore them, but I don't have the expertise. And you think I do. I think you have your father's knowledge and your own good sense. Between those things, we'll figure it out. She loops her arm through my other side, so I'm flanked by 3 generations of Bishop women. Besides, I have a feeling you and I are going to be friends for a very long time. As we walk out of the country club, I pass the private dining room one last time. Marcus's family is still inside, still talking intensely. They don't even notice me leave. That night, I sit in my, now just my, apartment, looking at Eleanor's business card. The job offer is terrifying. Managing a foundation is so far outside my experience that I should probably say retry P continue editno immediately. But then I think about my dad, about the kids who will benefit from trade school scholarships, about the version of myself that stopped today without hesitation. I pick up my phone and call Sarah. Ava, oh my God, I've been waiting to hear from you. How did the brunch go? I start laughing, I can't help it. It's a very long story. I have time. Derek moved out, so I have all the time in the world. I tell her everything. the roadside stop, Marcus driving away, the confrontation, Eleanor Bishop, the job offer. When I finish, there's silence on the other end. Sarah, you ended your engagement and got offered a dream job in the same afternoon. I don't know if it's a dream job. I don't even know if I'm qualified. Ava, listen to yourself. You spent 2 years with Marcus questioning everything about who you are, and in one afternoon with someone who actually sees you, you're back to doubting yourself. And she's right. Your dad would tell you to take the job, Sarah continues. You know he would. I look at the photo on my mantle. Dad in his garage, grease-stained and grinning, holding up a wrench like a trophy. Yeah, I whisper, he would. I text Eleanor, I'd like to discuss the position. Are you free this week? Her response comes immediately. Tuesday, 10 a.m. I'll send you the address. And Ava, your father would be very proud. I cry then, finally. Not sad tears, but the kind that come with release, with letting go of something that was suffocating me and reaching for something real. The next few days are a blur. I pack up Marcus's things. He sends movers, too cowardly to come himself. I call my boss and give notice at my event coordinating job. I meet with Eleanor 3 times, learning about the foundation, the mission, the kids whose lives could change with the right support. On Thursday, Eleanor takes me to her garage. It's a massive space behind her modest house. And yes, modest is relative, but compared to what I expected, it's almost normal. The garage, though, is spectacular. My husband spent 40 years collecting these, Eleanor says as we walk past covered shapes. She pulls a tarp off the first one, revealing a 1967 Mustang in cherry red. He was going to restore them all. We were going to do it together in retirement. What happened? Heart attack 5 years ago. She touches the Mustang's hood gently. I haven't had the heart to start without him, but I think he'd like knowing someone who appreciates them is bringing them back to life. I walk among the cars, 10 in total, each one a classic, each one salvageable. My fingers itch to start working. I can't pay you for the restoration, Eleanor says, but when they're done, we'll auction them. The proceeds go to the foundation, and you can keep one, whichever one you want. I turn to her. Eleanor, why are you doing all this for me? She considers the question carefully. When my husband died, I realized something. We spent so much time building wealth, building status, building connections, but the moments that mattered most were always the small ones, the times we stopped to help, the people we lifted up along the way. She meets my eyes. You reminded me of that, and I think you're going to remind a lot of other people too. 2 months later, I'm standing in a high school auditorium in front of 50 kids from backgrounds like mine. They're the first recipients of the expanded scholarship program I've designed with Eleanor's foundation. My dad was a mechanic, I tell them. He taught me that working with your hands isn't less than working with your mind, it's just different. The world needs people who can build things, fix things, create things. I show them pictures of the cars I'm restoring. I tell them about trade schools and apprenticeships and career paths that don't require drowning in debt. And I tell them about the day I stopped on the side of the road. I thought I was going to lose everything that mattered, I say. My relationship, my future, my chance at belonging in a world I thought I wanted to be part of. I pause. Instead, I lost the things that were holding me back, and I found something better. I found myself again. After the presentation, a girl approaches me. She's maybe 16, with nervous energy and grease under her fingernails. I've been fixing my mom's car since I was 12, she says quietly, but my guidance counselor says I should focus on college prep classes. That mechanical work is, you know. Beneath you, I finish. She nods. I pull out a business card, my new ones with the foundation's logo. Call me next week. We're starting a summer apprenticeship program with local garages, paid positions, college credit if you want it, or direct entry into trade certification programs. Her eyes go wide, serious. Completely serious. Your guidance counselor is wrong. There's nothing beneath you about knowing how to fix things. It's a superpower. She leaves clutching the card like it's made of gold. Eleanor finds me after, watching the kids file out. You're good at this. I'm still figuring it out. That's what makes you good at it. You remember what it's like to not know, to not fit. She squeezes my shoulder. That's what these kids need, someone who's been where they are. We walk out to the parking lot together, where my newly restored 1969 Camaro sits gleaming. Eleanor let me keep it, my payment for bringing her husband's collection back to life. It's electric blue, pristine, and it runs like a dream. Your dad would love that car, Eleanor says. He would have loved this whole situation, I reply. The job, the kids, you. I wish I could have met him. He would have liked you too. You both understood the same thing, that who you are matters more than what you have. My phone buzzes. It's Sarah. Coffee tomorrow? I want to hear about the cute teacher you mentioned from the last school visit. I laugh. There is a cute teacher. Fifth grade teacher at one of the schools we partner with. He volunteers with our weekend workshop program. He's kind, funny, and completely unpretentious. We've gotten coffee twice. I text back, yes, and he's very cute. And yes, there's a third coffee date planned. Eleanor catches my smile. New development. Maybe it's early. Take your time, you've earned the right to be careful. She's right, I'm not rushing into anything. I'm learning who I am outside of someone else's expectations. I'm building something that matters. I'm honoring my dad's memory by teaching kids that their hands can be as valuable as their degrees. And sometimes, late at night in my garage, I work on Eleanor's cars and think about that day on the side of the road. How stopping changed everything. How choosing kindness over convenience led me exactly where I needed to be. Marcus sends a text occasionally, checking in, he calls it. I respond politely but briefly. I heard through mutual friends that he's dating someone from his mother's country club, someone suitable. I hope he's happy. I hope he learns, eventually, that love shouldn't require someone to shrink. As for me, I'm exactly where I belong. In garages and auditoriums and foundation offices, surrounded by people who value authenticity over appearances. All because I stopped on the side of the road. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life stories about finding yourself when everything falls apart. Drop a comment telling me about a time you chose authenticity over approval. I read every single one.